Hello folks, this is Crazy Bunny Productions, here with a problem, request, perhaps, maybe just wanting to have something that if anyone else can think of a way to solve it. So, I am, as of right now, working on a new horror game, and it works simply enough. There's the monster, and as you can see, he's kinda stuck in place. He was moving a while ago, and I know the reason why he stopped moving. It's because I can't add any more pieces onto his pathfinding. The way I decided to handle his ability to move was using state machines, and it was really simple process. Just let me I guess I'll draw it out kinda before I really explain it. So he ran off of two pistons in a formation such as this with the monster in the center. And of course the pistons were moved to target. They had their on value, the speed value, and the location value. And the way I handled it is I just had the states with their the three values they gave off. One of them was the speed. One of them was the speed value. That was the value that they got universally. Let me just make these black. The red values, of course, were just configured to be 1, so they were always on. Well, no, they weren't always on. That was another thing. Okay, so this was the state machine with each of the the states, and so they were. I'm explaining this horribly. So the first value was actually the rotation of a rotation gizmo. So let's see. So there was a rotation gizmo that told it what way it was rotating. So that was for rotation. This was for speed, and this was for the actual location that they had to follow. And the way I actually handled all of this, so value 1 was rotation, value 2 was speed, and value 3 was location. Now what you're probably thinking is, hey, wouldn't that just make them only be able to go to one spot because they both have the same value inputs and they both have the same location inputs? Well, the way I handled that is the states had their own little trigger inside of them that told them when they were actually turned on, like the in-state chip, and that was what the on switches were hooked onto. So whenever the state was on, like a specific one, that for the X and Y value, it would turn on. Any one that was moving up would turn on the up chip. Any one that would be handling left and right would be handling the left and right one. So that's how that was working. And it was efficient. It was able to let me basically feed both of these the exact same information and only have one of them moving at a time, because it's only going to be right turns, so I'm not going to have to worry about it moving diagonally. If that makes any sense. I'm probably explaining this horribly. My issue is now, despite this very efficient math system in which I can just make this thing turn around and stuff. In fact, let me go over here and demonstrate for a little bit. I have a button that resets it. So this buddy just randomly decides which direction he wants to go. Yeah, there actually is a path here, but the corridors kind of vanish and disappear. So there are actually corridors here. Here he went to one of the dead ends. Basically anything past this point, like this wall, there's a corridor here going through. Basically this is the cutoff point. I have everything this way and up complete, just not this part, sadly. And there, see, like, so this is the whole layout. So I got all this stuff and back done, all these choices, and the way it does choices is the actual things that tell it to flow into what state are hooked up to a randomizer chip that's constantly ticking at different values, and that tells it, oh, maybe I'll go this way or that way, depending on what frame it hits the stopping point. So my current issue now is, sadly, I can't hook up any more states to this thing. Like, I'm completely out of states. Like, I was trying to put in states, can't do it. I'm all out. As you can see, like, all I have is the flow, and here it is right now. You can see that if I were to zoom out, it's kind of shaped like that area. You see I got the paths that go down here, I've got that area, that got the straight path down, all that stuff. Here is all of the OR gates that tell it if it's in the state. So currently this was a vertical movement, so of course it's going to be hooked up to the vertical part. All of these have the rotation, the speed, and the value it's trying to move to. So you can see that they're all wildly different, but it all works perfectly. It's just that there's a lot of choices because I wanted to handle every direction it could come from, and it worked flawless. So like, I had this whole thing section done. Like, there wasn't a single place that it couldn't move to and have a decision. It's just, I didn't even know there was a state limit until now. If anyone else knew, what were you doing? Because I want to know too. I want to know what the hell I was doing at this point. So my question is there an easier way I could have gotten all of these positions done and had it move? Like, I know I could have done something along the lines of have just every single one of these states be a coordinate and have it follow that coordinate. But unfortunately that would either have it risk going through a wall, or alternatively have it stopping for too long, waiting for the thing to catch up to the state. And that's just, it's just not gonna do it for me, really. It's too jitter. Like, at most, this thing is gonna get guaranteed maybe 1 or 2 frames of jitter, just waiting for it to sync up to a value that tells it which direction to move, because the only value place where there's a state that handles like more than 3 options, like it's coming from this, it can either go this way or that way or that way. That's 3. So every single other is just 2 choices. So it's just basically waiting for a value that isn't 3 to make a decision. And of course, that's like 1 frame of jitter, unless it just continuously rolls 3 the entire time, which is, of course, super unlikely. So I guess what I'm saying is this was the fastest way to make it move through that I could think of. And I don't know how to make this work in a way that, well, it will continue to work. Like, is it possible for me to hook 2 state machines together? But, like, at that point, like, how do I even get that to work? Because, I mean, it'd be like a mess, a total mess. Like, even more than it already is, wouldn't it? I really don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I say I don't know what I'm doing, but I built this thing. Do I know what I'm doing? God, this thing's probably an abomination. If I delete these things, like, this thing will go for hours, like forever. It'll never stop. As you saw, it stopped for like a brief second to make a decision. Like, see it. Occasionally, it won't even stop at all. But it'll never make a mistake. Because everything here is evenly timed out based on its speed. I don't know what to do about this. If anyone knows how I can potentially solve this problem in a better way, please tell me. This was as efficient as I could get it. I mean, look at this whole thing. This is 15% right here. And I think like maybe the most expensive thing might be this guy or the flashlight in terms of actual objects. Like this is as streamlined as I'm getting this. Well, at least with this specific setup here. Is there something better than this that won't mess up? Because the way I used to have one version of this thing is how it basically was just a giant wall that would follow the players, and it would only be allowed to move in certain paths based on whether or not there was an object in that path spawned in. Unfortunately for that work, it was way more janky. It would linger for long periods of time and place, and after a while there was a huge risk of it glitching through a wall. And it also took up a ton of ink, because I really did not know what I was doing. Also, and if there's any concerns, like if the jitter desyncs it at all, the jitter is only for it trying to transition, which means it will not actually be making any progress. So the little stops that it does aren't actually taking up time from the other states. It's just adding on time to the position it was already trying to go down. Why am I still explaining this mess? Okay, you know... But yeah, this is what I've been working on, and I've hit this roadblock because I have an entire half of a map, really. Well, actually kind of like less than half. There's not really a lot more I'd need to do, but don't have enough room in the state machines to finish it. So short of making a second monster that goes through these areas, which, you know, I probably could do. I can probably afford to do that. But I just kind of wanted the one monster. Because, I mean, I'm pretty proud of this monster. It's simple, it looks amazing in the dark. And it's just... I don't know what to do. Well, to avoid ranting, I'm just gonna end this here. If anyone has any way they could help, just, yeah. Bye.